This is the Georgia Farm Monitor. Since 1966, your source for state and national agribusiness news, and features for farmers and consumers about Georgia's #1 industry, agriculture. The Georgia Farm Monitor is produced by the state's largest general farm organization, the Georgia Farm Bureau. Now, here are your hosts, Ray DeLessio and Kenny Burgamy.
Well, hi there. Pull up a chair, grab your favorite fluffy pillow, and just relax. All the latest ag news right here, right now. So glad you could join us for another edition of the Farm Monitor. I'm Ray DeLessio.
And I'm Kenny Burgamy. As always, we have a ton of stuff to get to today. Straight ahead, cattle producers, are you ready for winter? If not, or even if you think you are, we've got a story you need to see. Also, meals from the football field. We've got you covered if you're looking for some last-minute Super Bowl recipes. Ray and Marcia share some of their favorite dishes from years past.
And then later, how an Eagle Scout project resulted in one young man helping hundreds in his community. These stories and so much more starting right now on the Farm Monitor.
Well, despite chilly weather and occasional snow over the past month, cattlemen are still hard at work tending their animals on a daily basis. Damon Jones takes a look at some of the methods they're using to care for their herd during the winter months.
No matter the season, no matter the weather, cattlemen have to tend to their livestock on a daily basis. And with it being such a cold winter to this point, the farmers have really been challenged. However, so far, they've been up to it.
This year, the snow probably was our biggest challenge, but you know, we got the cows fed, and they're doing fine. You know, my fall cows are all finished calving, and spring calves will start here in the next month or so. But by then, my winter grazing will be big enough. I think I can limit graze them a little bit.
Getting the animals fed in a timely manner is the biggest concern, as they need to have enough energy to survive the cold weather. That means the farmer must be consistent and feed their animals the right products.
You know, when they get down in the low teens, you need to come out. I've been trying to come out late in the day, every day, and try to give them some grain. I use some soy hull pellets and cracked corn supplements to just kind of help them retain that heat, you know, because cows, you know, they can sense this cold weather. They know when these fronts are coming, and their energy requirements are a lot more.
One thing that is helping get cattlemen through this cold spell is the bumper hay crop they were able to cut in 2017.
You know, last year we had terrible quality hay, so we had to feed a lot of supplement last year. And luckily for this year, you know, our hay's been good, our baleage has been good, so we hadn't had to supplement as much. I wouldn't have supplemented any, you know, but I didn't foresee this real cold weather.
Another practice that can help the farmer is planting cover crop for winter grazing. And while it does take some planning and effort on the front end, it ultimately saves them both some time and money.
But the ryegrass, it prolongs the season, the grazing season, and it comes in earlier in the fall, in the spring, so you can get them on it. And it just cuts down on the amount of hay you have to put up and store.
And it's not just the farmers that benefit from the winter grazing, as the cattle get the feed they prefer as well.
I can turn them on this ryegrass pasture over here, and they'll have hay out, but they'll eat the ryegrass, you know, a lot quicker than they will the hay. I mean, because it's just they like it better, and it's green, and it tastes better, and so that's the advantage of having ryegrass or any kind of winter grazing, whether it's oats, wheat, or just regular rye.
Reporting from Carrollton, I'm Damon Jones for the Farm Monitor.
All right, thank you, Damon. In other ag news, SUDIA, the Southeast United Dairy Industry Association, is no more, sort of. As part of a newly launched marketing campaign and rebranding, from here on out, SUDIA will be forever known as the Dairy Alliance. In addition to the name change, the new branding initiative includes a new logo, a strategic mission, as well as a renewed effort to expand partnerships and provide growth opportunities in the dairy industry. CEO Doug Ackerman says it's a fundamental shift in how the organization positions themselves within the dairy industry.
If you look at the numbers and you look at the fact that dairy's been declining for over 60 years, so how is it that you make a fundamental shift in what you do? We're in a fluid milk region, and look at what's going on with butter, fats coming back. How are we going to compete moving forward? My goal is to put another generation of dairy farmers on the farm in the Southeast. And we're all going to have to come together as an alliance to make sure that we can do that. No one group, no one state, no one, the farmers themselves can't do it, the processors themselves can't do it. We can't do it just in the state of Georgia. It's too big of an issue that we all need to address as an alliance to move forward.
Since 1971, the Dairy Alliance has been the voice for dairy in the Southeast. Started as just 4 states, it's now grown to 9, including Georgia, Alabama, and Virginia, just to name a few. Now, meantime, the 2017 pecan harvest is now long gone, but for one grower in Fort Valley, they will not be forgetting this past year anytime soon.
That's because of all the damage that was caused by Hurricane Irma back in September. The Monitor's John Holcomb traveled to Peach County and has the story.
Trees uprooted, limbs down everywhere, and precious pecans all on the ground. That was the scene here at Mason Pecan Orchard in Fort Valley back in September, right after Hurricane Irma came through. The damage was so bad, the Georgia Commissioner of Ag and the United States Secretary of Ag came out to see the devastation for themselves.
We're here at the Mason Farm, and we've seen devastation to a level, particularly in pecan, that we've not seen in quite some time.
Here at this farm alone, the Mason family lost around 3,500 trees. The worst part, they were full of pecans and ready to be harvested.
The crop was early this year, and we were all right at harvest. I mean, we were fixing to, all of our equipment was geared with sweepers and blowers, and, we were ready to go on into the fields and start gathering our crop.
And just when you thought things couldn't get worse, with the damage done in the orchard, it caused them to have to delay the harvest that much more for cleanup, just so they could even get to the trees that needed harvesting.
When Irma hit, and the way it laid the trees over, there's no way to get through your orchards. You've got green nuts on the ground that were beginning to open. You couldn't get in there to get them for the most part, because you had to get the trees out of the way where you could get your equipment in there to harvest.
Most of the damage is cleaned up now, and the harvest is complete. But sadly, the nightmare isn't over just yet. The effects of this disaster do not end just after 1 year, or 2, or even 3 years. They can last for decades.
It's not like an annual crop, it's a generational crop. When you think about that, these young boys out here just starting off, that's going to be kind of a third of their career of getting going.
The Masons can't even begin to plant the trees back yet due to there being such a high demand for pecan trees. The nurseries are so far backed up on production, it will be years before this farm will see new trees to replace those lost.
We ordered for planting our trees for 2018 a year and a half ago. Any trees that we need now for Hurricane Irma, the earliest we'll be able to get them is 2019.
Even if they did have the trees, it still wouldn't be much help. The trees that were lost were about 20 years old and were producing substantial yields. The new trees will take more than a decade before they are producing enough to help recoup those losses.
It's not just the instant trees and the nuts and the crop that was lost in September when Irma came through, but it's the expectancy of crop income that was lost over the next 10, 12, 14 years to really get these new plants into a situation where they could start putting you back whole in your operation.
Reporting in Fort Valley for the Farm Monitor, I'm John Holcomb.
John, thank you very much. Now, when we come back, we're getting you ready for the big game. Simple yet delicious recipes that'll be the highlight of any Super Bowl party. Meals from the field when the Farm Monitor continues.
First choice was it was a small campus, and there were small student bodies, and you were more than just a number here. They knew you by name, and that was kind of the big seller of it. And then I've talked to a bunch of people about it, and they were like, well, you can graduate with a UGA degree. The piece of paper is going to say UGA. You don't have to go to Athens and all that stuff. And kind of a family kind of pushing in. Most of my family's been to UGA, so kind of pushed into going to UGA. So it's kind of three big things I really liked about it.
Oh, go Dogs. Well, due to the recent blast of snow across Georgia and the shutdown of government buildings, our monthly taping of Meals from the Field at the Department of Agriculture was put on the back burner, so to speak.
I see what you did there. Nice one, Kenny. However, in preparation for the big game between the Eagles and Patriots, we scanned through some of our past episodes to bring you this simple, easy, and scrumptious recipes that you can fix for your Super Bowl party.
All right, the first thing we're going to do, we call these Tex-Mex chicken cups. And this won an award, a chicken cooking contest. This is 1.5 pounds of cooked chicken.
Your recipe won an award?
No,
or,
it wasn't mine.
Okay.
I was a judge in the contest.
Judge in the contest, okay.
And we're going to add to that a cup of ranch dressing. And this recipe is so simple, you're going to be shocked that it won a huge award. You stir that up. This calls for, I'm going to move this out of the way for just a minute. You're going to line a muffin tin with wonton wrappers.
Okay.
And you buy those in the produce section of just about any grocery store, and they look like this. Okay? All right, you're going to line these muffin tin. And you can brown these if you want for a few minutes before you fill them, but I kind of forgot to do that today, and that worked fine not browning them.
Okay.
Okay. You're going to fill these with about a tablespoon of this chicken ranch dressing mixture. And this is something you could do ahead and put in the refrigerator and then stuff the cups at the very last minute. So about a tablespoon of the chicken mixture in each of the wonton cups. And on top of that, you're going to add, this is 2 cups of Monterey Jack cheese, but you could substitute any kind of cheese.
Okay.
And this is 2 tablespoons of the taco seasoning mix that you get out of a pack, but you could use chili. You could really put any kind of Hispanic, Mexican spice in there you like. You stir that up. And I have done this directly. If you use the bag cheese, you can just put this spice in the bag and mix it up.
Don't they make Mexican cheese that's it's like a mixture of like Mexican blended cheeses?
Yes,
and stuff?
they do.
Really good stuff.
Okay, then you're going to, let me grab a spoon, sorry. You're going to put about the same amount of the cheese mixture, about a tablespoon on each of the chicken cups.
Okay.
Then you're going to bake these for about 20 minutes at 350, and we've got a finished product over there.
All right.
You can top it with salsa, sour cream, peppers, whatever your preference is.
Finished product.
They're so good, I'm telling you, they're so good, and this won like a huge award. The next thing is a spinach dip. Shrimp, sorry, big difference. This is an 8-ounce package of cream cheese softened with 2 tablespoons of milk just to help it combine better. You're going to add to that a 4.5-ounce can of canned tiny shrimp.
Not the big jumbo shrimp.
Well, that would be like 2. Now, if you wanted to use fresh shrimp, obviously you could, about a cup of chopped. You know, it would be a good use for leftovers. Put that in there. A little bit of garlic powder. This is green onion, green pepper, and yellow onion.
Okay.
I'm sorry, yellow pepper. I don't think they make yellow onions. Yeah, they do. And a teaspoon of chopped fresh tarragon. And you mix all this together. Obviously, you can do this ahead. And this is really good with crackers or fresh vegetables if you want your tailgate to be a little bit on the healthy side.
Right. Obviously, for more people, a little bit more
You could double it, yeah, and
Okay.
it's really easy. It mixes up just that quickly.
Okay.
I guess the most time-consuming thing is letting the cream cheese soften.
Because you know, you always have that one tailgate friend that hangs out around the dip and eats half the dip.
It's half the dip.
So.
All right, this is the best recipe. We're calling these peanut butter and jelly brownies.
Nice.
All right, in the bottom of this pan, we have the usual suspects: flour, sugar, baking soda, baking powder, a cup of chunky peanut butter, and a cup of peanut butter morsels.
Okay.
Okay. We're going to spread a cup of strawberry jam. I suppose you could use grape. The strawberry is so good, I'd hate to change it, and the color would obviously not be the same.
I'm glad you clarified that, because when I first saw that when I walked in, I thought it was cranberry sauce. I'm like, why are we going to put cranberry sauce on cookies?
Why are we going to do that? We're not.
So it's strawberry preserves.
Strawberry preserves. Strawberry jam.
Strawberry jam.
Okay.
More peanut butter.
More peanut butter. This is that mixture I just told you about. You put half of it in the bottom of this, and the other half you're going to kind of dollop on the top like this. And I won't go through all of this because we're probably running short on time. But you just spread that around evenly. Then you take another cup of peanut butter morsels and sprinkle over the top of that. You bake it at 400 for 40 minutes, and you let it cool completely before you cut it into bars. And I had a whole big pan of this when I came in this morning, and I only have one small plate left. It got raided.
It's
really good. It's really good.
So for the purpose of TV, let's go ahead and show everybody the final results there. Those are the peanut butter
and
galore cookies.
Oh, they're addicting, I can tell you.
Those.
And kids really love them.
And then we got the dip, which is really nice. A fancy bowl. That does look really, really good.
It's good.
Looks filling too. Some really good ideas. And hey, don't forget, if you missed any part of Meals from the Field or other stories on today's program, you can still see them in their entirety at our YouTube channel, The Georgia Farm Monitor. Plenty of stuff to choose from. The archive goes all the way back to 2009.
And while you're there, keep clicking and like the Georgia Farm Monitor Facebook page. If you have a story idea or if you just want to leave us a comment or suggestion, send us a message either on Facebook or at the address that's on your screen, news@farm-monitor.com. When we come back.
Well, it's just a good feeling because it's something that I can do to help back in the community.
Impressive words from a young man who is determined to make a difference. The story of Jacob Tweddle when the Farm Monitor continues. Well, a dip in your mood is common in winter. That's because shorter amounts of sunlight can sometimes affect us emotionally. While not a cure for serious mental health issues, experts say indoor plants can beautify your surroundings and perhaps improve your outlook. Charles Denny tells us about the evidence for growing self-care.
The view, dreary. In winter, the days are short and often cold. Not a good mix for someone's mood. Seasonal affective disorder, or SAD, is where a lack of sunlight can bring about a decrease in mood or even depression. Things might look bleak outside, but here's something that can help: indoor plants. Much like a beautiful painting, just viewing or working with nature's artwork is good for us.
You know, and again, there's been studies that have found that, how you can increase your self-esteem, feel better about yourself, you're nurturing, caring for something, and in a short amount of time, you can really see the positive results.
Dr. Sue Hamilton says indoor plants cleanse the air we breathe and our psyche. Year-round gardening, especially in December, January, and February, has a therapeutic impact in several ways.
Research shows that you have a reduction in blood pressure, heart rate, a reduction in stress hormone levels, and then an increase in mood.
We don't mean to suggest plants are a cure-all for everything. If you're suffering emotionally, please see a doctor or mental health professional. But there's no question that being surrounded by beauty can help your mood. Margot Emery is the editor of a magazine for the UT Institute of Agriculture. Her office includes lots of plants. Margot says beauty gives her a boost in mood and creativity, much like being in a greenhouse.
Yeah, and they are plants that I collect particularly, so I have them here and at home, and a lot of them are from my friends, and so when I'm watering them and caring for them, I'm thinking about the friends who gave them to me.
The rebirth of spring, with all its color, is still a ways off. We might be stuck in the dead of winter a while longer, but our mood doesn't necessarily have to be dormant. Plants may help. Why look at this when you can look at this? This is Charles Denny reporting.
Finally today, when becoming an Eagle Scout, one must remember these 5 obligations: honor, loyalty, courage, responsibility, and service.
Yeah, Kenny, the latter of the two, responsibility and service, those are obligations that Jacob Tweddle of Canton, Georgia, went the extra mile to fulfill. Now, as part of his mission to earn the rank of Eagle Scout, Jacob took on the task of building garden boxes for Papa's Pantry, a food assistance program that serves Bartow, Cherokee, and Cobb County. The project was anything but simple, but thanks to his dedication and assistance from fellow scouts, Jacob's efforts will help feed a number of families in need.
My grandma is a master gardener in Texas, and she lives on a 50-acre farm out there, so she has plenty of plants that she grows out there, like peaches and cabbage and broccoli and all that stuff out there. So it just kind of started with that, since my grandma had gardening, and then my mom does have some gardening that we do in our backyard. So I've just kind of always been around it.
Well, it's fulfilling to watch a young guy like Jacob step up and go through the planning process. Part of it was dealing with me and my picky part of how he built the project, but he just did a wonderful job of taking a project he didn't know anything about and being courageous enough to jump in and do it. And anytime you watch somebody take on a challenge they're uncomfortable with at the start and grow in it, in leadership and helping other people get it, yeah, that's exciting as a leader to watch a young man develop like that.
Well, first off, I came here at Papa's Pantry to meet with Miss Saunders and Mr. Phillips, who's their gardening advisor for Outback here. And Mr. Phillips had known Mr. Futter, who works at the UGA Extension office, and these were some bed designs that he had. So whenever we all came to meet, this is what he had brought, and we all liked the beds a lot since they looked a lot nicer and cleaner than some of the other ones, and they do last a lot longer. So that's how we had decided on what bed format we wanted to use.
The kids were fantastic. They came out here, they worked as a good group together. Jacob was basically their leader, showing them how they had to do it. I mean, there's a lot that went into this. They had to measure the beds, had to level the beds, they had to fill the beds. So, I mean, I think that they've really learned a lot here. And we're gonna kind of go on from this here and use these beds in another Scout project where the Scouts can earn a gardening badge. So we're going to work on that program with the Scouts. So not only do they see the finished bed, but they can see what the beds are actually going to be used for and how they're accomplishing to help other people less fortunate than them to be able to get fresh produce. What's nice about this is they're nice and tall. They're a little taller than the older beds. So when I'm out here working in the garden beds, I don't have to do so much bending over. So it's just the fact that they're a little bit higher. They're going to be great for a lot of the spring vegetables and stuff right now, and can't wait to get stuff started to get put in here.
This opportunity to get really good nutrition out to people in low-income families that are having some challenges in their life. And so fresh fruits and vegetables and the things that will grow in these boxes are going to help a lot of people just to have a better life.
Well, it's just a good feeling because it's something that I can do to help back in the community, which might not seem like a lot whenever you think of all the stuff that goes on, but little things can help out a lot in many different ways.
Yeah, great young man. And by the way, he is still working on getting his Eagle Scout ranking, so we certainly wish him the best of luck with that. Unfortunately, that is going to do it for this week's edition of the Farm Monitor.
Here's a reminder for all the latest ag info regarding food, great recipes, and what's happening down on the farm. Be sure you check out our Twitter, Facebook, and Pinterest pages. You'll stay informed and see what's up in the world of farming and with us here on the show.
Take care, everybody. We'll see you next week right here on the Farm Monitor.
Have a great week.